I am seeing literally brands putting behind $2 million to $3 million on creators with only 500 followers. Instagram does not matter how many followers. It matters about spotting the right talent to speak about your brand. One piece of video to be used in like at least 5 to 10 ways. It should not be used on just one platform. That is stupid.
Excited to chat here today. We got Zoe from co-founder of Refunnel, a partner of ours, new partner of ours that we've been implementing with virtually all of our clients here at TVG, and super excited to jam on Refunnel. Honestly, just want to hear a little bit more about like your background and like the use cases for Refunnel, so people tuning in can really see use cases and hopefully apply to them and their brand, and just talk about the entire like creative marketplace and how it's changed, specifically on the paid side and for organic. But Zoe, good to see you, man. How are things?
Good. I'm still thinking about that soccer game we went to.
Crazy, man. Did you end up going to another one after?
I did. I got a little addicted, I'm not going to lie. And I've been avoiding looking at my credit card bill. So.
And I should say Zoe's also based out in Dallas here, so it was great to meet up with them in person, which is rare in the e-com days. Like I said, everything's over Zoom, so it was great to hang out with the Refunnel guys. But yeah, dude, tell me a little bit about you, your background, and like how Refunnel came to be.
Yeah, for sure. So Refunnel, honestly, it was an idea that Atif came up with a while back, and we met at a networking event. So basically, he noticed a lot of these social listening products that existed out there were just very pricey, and he figured out a way to do it very cost effectively. So he came into the market that way, and I was at Social Snowball at the time. I was a partner there, and we got along, and there was some synergies. A lot of people were using his tool and our tool together, and I knew that, hey, it was my time to leave Social Snowball, and right when we exited, I hit him up and I was like, hey man, let's talk. Let's advance on this product, because the way that I see things with TikTok Shop out there now, and then there's Instagram shopping that obviously was being talked about a while back. YouTube also has been talking about this. I was like, affiliate's gonna come in, affiliate's gonna die. Like, all these platforms are trying to take revenue attribution because they have this owned audience that they can easily monetize off of, not just off the paid ad side. They're like, hey, look, if we can bring the shopping experience in. But it's like, how can we still leverage creators to be motivated to create content outside of affiliate and for paid ads? And that's where he and I had this like spark of an idea, which was, what if we paid creators a percentage of ad spend? What if we paid creators a percentage of ad GMV? And what if we paid people based off of CPM basis, just like how back in the day, before Google and Meta came out with their automated platforms, people would have to manually reach out to websites like blog sites and stuff and say, hey, can I bid on some ad space on your blog? That's essentially what Refunnel is doing, but with creators' spaces. Now that could be their actual feed, that could be their Reels page, or that could actually be through leveraging their profiles through this thing called whitelisting or partnership ads, which we could talk about later. But that's kind of where we've been driving the direction. That's our North Star vision, is really becoming almost like a trade desk for creators and brands to work with each other directly versus having to run ads with per se or TikTok. The Refunnel name came from moving or funneling content from one platform to another. So that was like my whole life story, where how we all started. But
I love it. And what I love about you guys, like similar to us, I feel like you guys are extremely nimble and you guys move really, really quick. And I know from speaking with you guys, the evolution of like the product of Refunnel has been insane over, I believe, like 16 months, right? Have you guys been, since your inception?
It's about 18, a little over 18 months, I think. But yeah, when we met, it was around 16, but yeah.
Right. I just feel like we're speaking the same language, especially when it comes to the paid side of like what we need to see to be successful on paid from creative. You guys like very much understand like what creators are feeling, but then like as an agency for 7 and 8 figure brands, like what it takes to actually win on paid, and then making it very easy for us to do it extremely fast, which I think is like, as a SaaS, everyone that we have partnered with, Skio, Recharge, and now Refunnel, all the teams have equally shared that same sort of just like honestly hearing like why their product is working for their clients, and then for us, like why they're working for us, or us being your client, and then our partners too as well. I think you were mentioning at the soccer game, you guys are signing some pretty big brands. Like, talk to me a little bit about some of like the recent wins that you've been seeing for either the brands or like the partnerships.
Yeah, so we've noticed a lot of brands that are kind of in this nine-figure category. They're trying to pivot into running partnership ads because they're seeing CPMs are just really high on their branded accounts. So brands like Crocs, Vera Bradley, Laura Geller, I mean, there's so many that have just joined the platform. And especially because what our philosophy was, and this is something that like I've always hated, is if you're taxing someone for performing well on your platform when you don't have any increase, like major increase in usage costs for your platform, like, hey, we want to hear from the right people.
Right.
So
Right.
so those brands, I mean, they stay on for a while. I mean, Crocs has been a day one customer of ours, actually, and they brought a lot of their sister companies as well.
At a high level, maybe you can talk just like about like some tools. I know we're heavily going to talk about paid partnerships, and I'd say like mainly on like the UGC campaign side, but maybe touch on some other tools, social listening and stuff that you guys have, because we'll talk about the main ones I think that we're featuring within TVG.
Yeah, for sure. So the core features kind of stem from the social listening part of the tool, where you could see all of the content that people have posted about you already. And this can also include stories, as long as you've been using us. Everything going forward, we could track. But before that, we're tracking posts where people have just mentioned like the product in their video, but they didn't tag you at all as well. So like fun fact, Laura Geller, they were on their previous tool, they were only tracking 15% of the content that they're tracking now with Refunnel, because there's so many creators that just had Laura Geller's like product in their video, doing the makeup. What's interesting is we can look at the metadata from a video and then assume or guesstimate if it's like the same product that is featured on your website. So we were able to pick up a bunch of products that were mentioned in videos and build a library for them. On top of that, we have this TikTok shop integration, so you can track your GMV across the different creators, all that fun stuff. And the reason why we have those different features is because the goal is, how do we get creatives for your paid ads? So we have this usage rights and whitelisting rights features that you can just quickly DM a creator or send an email, and oftentimes we have the email in our database already, but if we don't, you can just DM them. Essentially, moving that content, getting the permissions of for that content or their profile, and then moving that content over from one platform to another has been like the major use case for us. From there's obviously like we have shoppable videos, so you can embed these videos on your site, or being able to essentially like search creators up. We have these fun little features, but I think the core thing that people are using us for is really like how do we scale our best performing creators to create more content for us, and then how do we take that content and run ads on it at scale.
Yep.
And keep those creators incentivized. So that's like where a lot of the usage on our platform is.
Yeah, and I think you just saying that the brand Laura Geller unlocked like 85% of content that they would have never seen before is such a big unlock with people. Like, so we dive in like the financials of all these brands before we even start any engagement, and kind of build off a roadmap based off this, and seeing how much brands in the past would have had to spend to acquire 85% net new content is absurd. And being able to see that before even paying any dollars and just requesting whites, and then maybe paying a flat fee or percentage of ad spend, whatever it may be, is so extremely advantageous because you're paying for performance rather than just, I think the paying for deliverable game, there's still people having a lot of success with it, but I would say like it's almost like riskier now. Instead, where creators are trained up on good creators are trained up on like what good performance means, and they should be compensated correctly. And so we're seeing a huge alleviation on the financials of companies when it comes to content creation. And the way that we think about content creation now is less so of just like, you have a creative strategist and you're creating a campaign or a brief, whatever it may be, for like a specific push. And it's more so like creative orchestration of the different lanes of like how content is coming in. You have the brand side, and that maybe includes the founder or not the founder. You have I would say, the community side, where you have like all of your affiliates, UGC campaigns, promotions, people being compensated off of the actual ads themselves. And then I would say like third parties and agencies that are maybe more on a deliverable basis. But now more than ever, volume at scale is important. But if you don't have the quality at scale, then it doesn't even matter. So being able to see things before you pay a flat fee, all this to say how important that tool is. So now we can kind of roll in, I think, to like the paid partnerships. And really, like, this is like, I would say, the main meat and potatoes of where we found success, and to where I think people, if you're a founder listening to this and you have held out on it because you think it's complicated or it's hard, maybe Zoe, you can kind of like decomplicate it for them. And I'll just say, we're seeing a lot of success with ad partnerships with our brands. You're talking about CPNs being lower and stuff like that. In the world, I think of AI, obviously, where things are now more accessible to everyone. There are just like more players in the game that are able to pump out, a million AI UGC creators, AI statics, and all these things. So I think people naturally are craving authenticity now more than ever. And we're seeing a really big influx, I think, of trust to value for people purchasing through unique pages and not necessarily just brand side. And I think honestly having UGC creators is honestly like a devalue to brands, and people of, I would say, like maybe our generation can totally see through it. I think it works with like Gen Xers and the older generations, and there's a time and a place for it. But I'm just saying, like, the tides have kind of shifted, and now brand partnerships are now really, really, really boosting. So maybe you can talk about some recent wins that you've seen, or just like we could talk about the entire workflow of brand partnerships, the Refunnel.
Yeah, actually, I'm actually going to pick up on that AI comment. So
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, AI content maybe will bring your 5-figure brand to a 6-figure or 7-figure early 7-figure limit. But then once people start seeing through the AI content and start calling it out, because there are very savvy people and they can pick it up. I mean, I can pick it up too. It can derail your brand image. I've seen that multiple times. I can't think of any on top of my head, but there was a lotion company that was having all these claims, and they had all this AI stuff going on, and people started calling it out. They're like, this is an AI video. Like, this is not a real, this doesn't actually solve my dermatitis issues or whatever. And then they got roasted. But they noticed, like, okay, well, the content that we were getting from our UGC creators, yes, it was a little bit more expensive, but we did have, more usage from their content than we did from the AI content. And I'm talking running ads through that creator's account. But in terms of the economics of everything, right? Like, why partnership ads and percent ad spend, GMV, all this stuff works is because here's the thing: creators at the end of the day, they want to get paid, and brands at the end of the day, they want to make sure that whatever they spend, every dollar that they spend, that there's some sort of ROI. So where is the synergy that can occur? It's okay, maybe I give you a lower flat rate and give you this hybrid commission model where it's like, look, if this video performs, you'll make more money. You stand to make way more than what you originally demanded from me.
Right.
So now it's a win-win for both of our sides. Now, the only issue is it's very hard for some brands to manage having to negotiate and do these dealings. Now, our platform one makes it slightly easier, but that's where you kind of need either an influencer manager, or I would recommend an agency like TVG. And I've noticed you guys have done such a great job with setting up incentive structures where lower flat retainer. So now you got the creator to come in, but now you're getting permissions to run ads through the creator's account at scale. And then on top of that, you're paying them more money than they would have otherwise made. But then at the same time, the business is not having cash flow issues because they had to pay this front load a bunch of cash to a UGC creator. They guaranteed some sales. I think that's where the major unlock is people don't look at the full economics of what D2C brands have to go through. Even D2C owners themselves, especially the 7-figure ones, they're just starting out. They're just starting to hit, $1 million, couple $1 million in revenue, but they're still if I throw this much money, I'm, at this creator, I might get more, content out of them and this and that, but can you guarantee that this is going to get you sales? No. And also it's I'm getting really cheap content from this creator. But then on the flip side, and you're just going out spamming, but that content doesn't have a proper hook or
Yep.
whatever. And now you're just running ads aimlessly. You're wasting money on the ads. You're wasting money. But now with this incentives change, right, where you're just like, hey, I'm going to give you creator percent ad spend. So now the creator's automatically incentivized to create a better hook. That video, like for me to make more money, all I have to do is put in a little bit more effort on the first like 2 seconds of the video. Otherwise, the creator's not putting that effort in. They're just like, all right, give me the script. I'll follow your script. Now they're like, actually, there's a better way to do this. How about I don't know, pretend like I'm throwing up and then, whatever, get that shock value and get people to hook in.
Yeah.
I think that's what starts to happen if you could properly incentivize. It's just like I was telling my wife this the other day with our kids. We have 2 kids, and it's like to incentivize these kids to not fight. I tell them, look, there's candy. You'll get it if you are on your best behavior, right? Then they're on their best behavior, whenever we're going out like with the grandparents or whatever. Then I give them the candy. I don't give them the candy up front because then I don't know. There's no guarantee if they're going to be on their best behavior. Right?
Yep.
That's how I think of creators. And that's just how it is at the end of the day. And I'm like, look, I'll give you a little bit. I'll give you a little teaser, which is like that retainer, and that like lighter retainer. And then you hit them with that ad spend. Boom, that's where. But you have to be savvy. If you're not savvy, that's why I always recommend just go with an agency. It might cost you a little bit right now, but trust me, once it starts to scale, I am seeing literally brands putting behind $2 million to $3 million on creators with only 500 followers. And they would have never known that if they were going on their own whim. But agencies know this. Like a lot of the influencer managers, they know this. Like they know that the algorithms have changed for TikTok and Instagram. It does not matter how many followers. It matters about spotting the right talent to speak about your brand. And if you don't have the savvy to do that, outsource that shit like right now.
Yeah.
That's why I love you guys. And, this is like such a perfect synergy because you guys have that.
Yeah.
Because of all the brands you've worked with through the days, you just know like this creator works with this brand. All right, we got to get that connection right away.
Yeah. I love the analogy to the kids. I'm also going through positive reinforcement with my 5-month-old already, which is crazy. And his awareness levels going up. But what like I related to, you can either have like one strategist that tries to create winning videos, winning briefs, or not even just assigning people deliverables like creators to just create videos, or would you rather have like 100 mini strategists that are actually filming the content themselves? Obviously, you're gonna pick the latter, and if it's gonna be cheaper to do the latter, it almost makes it a no-brainer. So it alleviates the grunt work on the front end. And in everything D2C, every single thing, like I want to tell all of we tell all of our clients and partners and brands, if they listen to us, like everyone in a D2C brand should have an incentive that is directly correlated with like some sort of performance metric. And so why would we let creators who are supposed to be creating performance videos like off the hook and just like pay them a flat fee? And I know you probably do the same within your own company. We do the same within our company. Like every single button to seat is tied to a performance metric, or else like, why are we here? Everyone should be incentivized for growth, and they should, if we hit our growth metrics, they should feel that and be compensated. So like, why have creators been any different? I think it was just an old model that honestly, maybe like, I don't want to call people lazy because we were a part of it, but it was a lazy model that it was easy at the time. And now obviously creators are getting more smart. They want to make more money, to your point. And they're objectively probably smarter than a lot of these influencer managers at these brands because they can create 100 videos a week and see what works and test.
Yeah. I think also like a lot of these creators, because they've been shafted because of the whole affiliate model, right? So ad spend and percent ad GMV, there's more guaranteed cash because you're basically targeting a video to the right audience. But when you're doing affiliate, now a lot of brands didn't think of this, but Instagram and TikTok don't want you to leave their app unless they're making money. Why would they want affiliate content to, exist on their platform? They don't want, and by affiliate, I'm talking about not TikTok shop. I'm talking use my code and go on this website. They don't want that crap. They don't want people going outside of Instagram or outside of TikTok because what does that mean for them? That means that there's less ad dollars being made every time a user leaves their app. They want to maximize the usage on the app. So how do you get around that? it's really the whitelisting and stuff, and that becomes your avenue of running an affiliate type of structure, right? But the reason why creators got so hung up on this whole retainer like BS, and I feel like they all conspired together, to be honest, is because they were like, yo, I keep getting fucked over by this affiliate thing. I am getting effed over. Like, a lot of brands are just giving me these codes. I'm making all this content. I'm trying to drive them sales. It does make me so much. But now all of a sudden, none of my videos are popping off anymore. It's because all you said was you showed your code in the video. They don't want your impressions now are going to tank. That's just, it is what it is. So this ad percent model and like, you know, pay by CPM, like by impressions and all that, it goes alongside the incentives that Instagram and TikTok have. It makes better winning ad creatives as well. But also, if it's an organic post, those videos tend to go more viral because there's no code being pushed out. The only issue is for brands, a lot of brands will have issue with this. You won't be able to always, unless you're running an ad, like on the organic post, you won't be able to directly attribute sales. That is one of the major issues. We are trying to figure out a way to do that right now, like create our own pixel and then seeing like referral traffic, because there is a way to do this. It won't be perfect, but we can get somewhere there where it's like probabilistically, you know, so just stay tuned for that. But I think now these creators are starting to realize, wait, actually I stand to make more money now. So it's much easier to have these negotiations. But like, if your influencer manager is still like signing retainer deals where they're like $2,000 for like 3 videos, like, I don't know, you should talk to Zach.
Yeah,
talk to Zach ASAP.
I was going to say, give me a hot take of like, in 2 years, brands still doing what are going to be dead. And I mean, I kind of agree. It's simpler than we think. Like, it's an equation at the end of the day, and we have to tie everything back to performance. I did want to round everything out with, you know, like what's kind of coming next for Refunnel. You've already kind of hinted at a few things, but any other updates or thing top of mind that you guys are actively building?
Yes.
That you can disclose.
I haven't announced this anywhere yet, but I'm going to do it on this pod right now. But we are coming out with an integration where, one, you could push ads from Refunnel into Meta. But not only that, all the creatives that you collect and get usage rights for, you can push them on YouTube ads, Snapchat, AppLovin,
Fire,
TikTok, and Meta. So
Fire.
Now, literally, you do not need to be stressed out about downloading a video and then getting usage rights. No, you can get universal usage rights. You could request that for the content that a content creator makes for all of those platforms. So
that's awesome.
We are tackling everything. We want one piece of video to be used in like at least 5 to 10 ways. It should not be used on just one platform. That is stupid. You just wasted so much time. The creators spent all this time make that video for you. You sent a free product. You put in all this effort negotiating with them. So why not maximize the full usage of the video? No one is doing this yet. This is something that's going to be proprietary tech for now until someone copies us. But like, you know, yeah, like this is something that we're going to be rolling out, and we are taking beta customers. Obviously, TVG, once we launch, you guys are going to be the first ones to have it. But you know, if anyone wants to book a demo with TVG, they'll get access to this. So
let's go.
Just a shout out. We're not giving this to normal customers, by the way, until the full release. So if you want to get early access and like literally spam the internet and make a ton of money, like hit up Zach first.
Let's go. Zoe will have it live by end of week.
It's gonna be sometime mid-August, but not end of week,
that's fire, dude. I mean, I already see so many use cases because right now it's manual, but it's funny, like you don't know any different, right? Because no one else has this, so I can already see the time saver with that. And really, like if I had to sum up, like all the tools that we use with our business that we offer to our partners, it's really just like speed to result. Like how can we get the speed to result as fast as possible? Because us being growth marketers, that's what we're graded on. Right. So like every other strategic partnership that we have should shorten that gap. And Refunnel has just been a extremely positive influence on that. And I think this is a perfect, place to kind of wrap up. And so Zoe, I really appreciate your time educating people on Refunnel. And like Zoe said, if you guys want to use all these new features on Refunnel, please hit us up. We will be happy to speak with you. And Zoe, thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome. If you have any hot takes, please feel free to drop them.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for having me on the pod, man. And look, if you're paying for one piece of content, that content should be used at least 10 times. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
If you're just gonna hoard content, you're wasting your money.